shoes, yeah.
So no.
Okay, so you can't...
Not even
no sentiment or emotion particularly between them. So you've all just seen the film. So what did you think? Tell me what was your first reaction to it?
I mean, I loved the film. Because I always get really nervous before I see them because I think now there is sort of a lot of pressure on them to keep getting better. But I really think it absolutely has.
No, seeing it for the first time is absolutely terrifying because you know, you work on a film for how long? We were on this one for
10, 11 months.
Yeah, 10, 11 months worth of work. You've been waiting for 6 months to see it, and then you know it's all of this work sort of compressed into 2 hours, and it's just. But no, I was terrified, but I think it's brilliant. It was really good. I'm really excited about it.
I loved it. It really was good.
Yeah, were you scared? Because you weren't there when Voldemort was causing all that trouble.
Yeah, I'd never seen any of that, and that was a bit scary, yeah.
Where's the nose? That's what they kept saying.
Yeah, because, I mean, I hadn't seen I had no idea what Voldemort was going to look like, because I knew they were going to do something with Ralph's face, but I didn't actually know what it was going to be, so that came sort of a shock, but, I mean...
Was that true? You mean that wasn't how he looked when he acted?
No, there was no makeup. That wasn't makeup. That's visual effects, and they had a series of orange dots all over his face, and you sort of think in your head, you think, oh, Ralph Fiennes with a lot of orange dots over his head. You think that would be funny, but it's still terrifying. Yeah, because he sort of acts past them.
The actors that I know, when they watch the film the first time, all they say is, "Where's that great bit that I did? What happened to that bit?" etc. Do you notice lots of bits that are gone?
You do. I mean, you do sort of sit there and go, oh my God, where did that go? Where is it? It's not there anymore. But, you know, I think the fourth one has such a huge sort of plot. You know, there's enough for 3 films in itself, just purely in the one film that we have made, that they have to be lethal on what gets cut. But I do think, you know, they've chosen the best bits and the bits that really need to be in there. When
I was rewatching it, I was sort of going, you'd get to a certain scene and I was sort of reminded of a scene that was coming up, and I'd be going, oh dear, I remember not liking what I had done in that bit, but it had been cut. So it was so for me, editing was brilliant.
I just want to ask a few questions about, as it were, life on the film. How long did the film take to make? How long were you?
About a year, really, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Do you like the days where you know you're just going to be able to, as it were, potter along? You know, you have to walk down a corridor. Or do you like the ones where something exciting is going to happen?
I suppose a mix. A healthy mix of those is good. If you have too many of the days when you're just doing nothing and sort of just walking along corridors, if it's too much of that, then you get to a big scene and you go, oh, I don't know what to do now. You sort of possibly get a bit complacent. But, I mean, so a nice mix of the two is quite good.
How much of the special effects of the final result do they let you see while you're standing in front of your blue screen or your man with yellow spots over his face?
Oh no, it's, you do. They have things called previses, basic kind of animation, and then you are shown a picture of what it is, and you sort of just imagine what it's going to be like, really.
Because you've got to work out how scared your face should look. Because if it's not going to be very scary, you don't want to look exactly too scared. Is it ever actually scary? I mean, I've only been on the Harry Potter set once with my kids who were very little then, and it was in the forest, I think, in the first one, when you were stumbling through it, and they were terrified.
That was quite a scary scene, though. I mean,
you're getting a bit old to be frightened now, aren't you?
Well, yeah, I hate spiders, and on the second film there was the scene with the Aragog.
Oh yeah.
Spider. I didn't really like that, but I sort of got used to it after a few takes.
I wasn't in that last Voldemort scene, but I remember coming to the set, and because it's such a sort of, I mean, such a huge moment in comparison to the whole four films that have been made, sort of seeing Voldemort for the first time. So I think everyone was really nervous and really wanted it to be right and a really good scene. And I remember coming down to set, and the tension and the sort of quietness of the whole set was unlike any other set I've ever been on. You'd walk on and it just sort of really hit you that it was like, oh, okay, this is really serious. And you know, it was scary. It did look scary.
I think Ralph Fiennes is pretty scary.
Yes.
Can I talk a bit about Mike and what it was like working with him? He's sort of famously a wonderful director with actors. I mean, did you feel he was taking you and Rom further than before?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I really got on well with Mike. He was a bit crazy sometimes, but he was really funny, and he was really into the sort of the comedy as well, which I like. So yeah, I really enjoy working with Mike.
But you've got your character sort of split in half in this film a bit, isn't it? Because still lots of good jokes and stupid costumes and things, but fundamentally you behave quite badly during the film, don't you? There's a long tantrum.
Yeah, I think that's to do with like growing up, and he's a bit more sort of teenage, a bit moody, and he has a few sort of fallouts with Harry.
No, we went when you said piss off.
I know, yeah.
That was it.
Yeah, I know, yeah. That was a bit, yeah.
I got really into all the arguing. I loved it. I thought it was really juicy. I thought it was great.
I was about to say the big fight must have been a real pleasure. The shouting at him after the party.
We're the worst dates in the world.
They deserved it.
I mean, presumably the director can't say to you now, like usually when you're fighting a mermaid, how would you behave? But in the ball, he actually can say, how would you behave if you saw someone you fancied coming down the stairs?
Yeah, no, I think that was a really big part of working with Mike, is that he was very much about drawing from your own experience and about, you know, it's not about acting, it's about really thinking about how well you and your character would respond to a situation.
I think we did something in this one which we've really not, I'm not sure we've ever done it before, and any of the others really, is we put scenes in that weren't there in the book. So I mean, for instance, I don't think the scene with Maggie teaching us to dance,
No,
which I found really funny. That was one of the, but there was that one, and the scene with Alan Rickman hitting me and Rupert on the back of the head. That was Mike's. I think that was Mike's idea, and he really got into that. Actually,
he did like that scene.
And I think Mike's main note during that scene was add more hits with the book. But so I think that's another great thing that Mike sort of brought to it.
Yeah,
well, and I love those scenes. Did you find yourself when you all started? How many years ago was your first day shooting?
Oh, it would be
4 or 5 years ago.
It'd be five years in a month.
Presumably everybody was very nice to you and didn't expect that much because they were sort of guiding you in. I mean, is that changing now? Are you being made to feel
I think
definitely
know more about it now?
With Mike especially, I think we really felt challenged, pushed, trusted as well, which was, you know, he really we were really starting. He didn't treat us like kids. That I think there was a huge sort of, there was a bit of a bridge.
But I mean, you know, then we're not playing kids anymore. That's the thing, really. So we're not. I think that's its main thing, is that, you know, we're all 5 years older than when we first started. So and, you know, people just do a lot of growing up in that time. Both.
Yeah, you must presumably sometimes look at each other and say, "What are we? What are we doing here again this time?"
Surreal.
It's bizarre. That's what's great about working on the films, is that there are really strange moments. Like, you know, the other day, because I'm at Leavesden at the moment tutoring, and my English teacher and me we were sort of sitting by the window, and then outside we had this truck going by with tombstones piled sort of about 3 high going by, and the look on my English teacher's face, because he's not come to this was one of the first times he'd been to the set. The look on his face, I think he thought we were sort of murdering people and putting them in caskets and then driving them around the studios. So you do get these sort of wonderful, strange moments all the time on the film, which I find really entertaining.
Talking about the other actors on the film, who do you feel is most like the character they play, and who least like the character they play? Snape, Alan. Rupert, what do you think? Is it open, laughing, light-hearted bloke? Nothing like Snape at all?
Alan, he's a good laugh. Yeah, he's dry sense of humour, which is quite funny. But no, he's not evil or anything.
He's not evil, no.
He is scary, though. Can I just add that in? There is definitely
he's a bit scary.
It's more in the voice, though, because he has got quite an
amazing voice.
An amazing, slightly intimidating sort of sounding voice. I think I'd have to say the person who's most like the character is probably Michael Gambon, because he is very eccentric in a fantastic way. He's completely individual, which is, I think, the greatest compliment anybody can be paid, and he really, really is, and he's brilliant. And I think probably the least like would be Brendan, being, Mad Eye Moody.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's got actually quite... He probably won't thank me for saying this, but he's got quite a high, girlish laugh. which so isn't like Moody in any way. I mean, but he's great. He's really, really nice guy.
Cho Chang. Let's talk about her. She was a new arrival.
Yes. No, it was great.
Did love flower on the steps?
No, not really. I mean, she's great. She's really, really, really cool and beautiful, as you've seen, because you've seen the film. But no, it didn't. I think. Did she have a boyfriend? I'm not sure. But no, it was great. I love doing all that stuff because it's sort of also again because it's so important in the fifth as well in terms of because that's like the moment that I think everyone's sort of waiting for is the sort of Harry's first kiss, and I'm quite excited. I know I'll be really, really nervous, but it's great because, you know, Katie's beautiful and I don't even have to make an effort to try and make her fancy me because she has to kiss me because it's in the script.
It's been written in the script.
Yes, so that's one of the bonuses of being Harry.
God, the idea of kissing someone on screen is terrifying. Do you not find that really scary?
No, I think that's... as I said, I'm quite looking forward to it.
And you two had some practice with the hug. How many times did you have to do that?
Oh, yeah, on the first or the second. It was one of
well, I meant the one
so
that followed, the one in the... There was a huge hug, which Miranda photographs, doesn't she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did. No, you're right. Because also we had to do that because it's got to be a moving... It's got to be a moving photograph, so they had to film it. So they had to film me and Emma hugging and then go back and hug. And so we had to do it about 6 times.
Which was quite funny.
Yeah.
But no, immediately when you said that, I shot straight back to the first film when I had to run down the Great Hall and hug Dan. And it seems like nothing. I made a huge deal of it. I was so mortified. For me, hugging a guy, especially
It's wonders for my self-esteem.
Well, no, at least you said a guy, not that. At least you said not that guy.
Not Dan in particular. But no, in front of everyone in the Great Hall, I was mortified. But in fact, I was so bad at it. I was so eager to get away and not hug him. They had to freeze the film for a second longer so that the hug actually lasted long enough.
I never knew that.
I was so bad. But anyway, sorry, 4th film. Focus. Okay.
No. Well, okay, so... But that's all not so tricky. That's not so tricky
Not
now.
anymore.
Not anymore,
Not
no.
anymore, it's all good.
If you could, let's take a portkey. I'm sure your fans will be eager to know this. If we could portkey you into anybody's house...
Right.
Who are you a fan of? Who would you most like to spend? Because you'll probably get to meet them. Who would you most like to meet?
I don't know. I've recently got quite into golf. I've been playing that for a couple of years. Probably Tiger Woods, probably.
Is that right? You know he'd beat you.
Yeah, he probably would, yeah.
Well, Rupert's really good, actually. I've never actually seen, but I have heard that Rupert is very, very good.
Probably not.
Can you practice at Leavesden?
Yeah, they built a little driving range.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Just for you?
Well, no, some of the crew play golf as well. So, yeah, that's quite good.
Okay, so he wants, rather unromantically, he wants to be portkeyed into Tiger Woods'. If you could get portkeyed into anybody's house?
Well, I don't know. Because, I mean, it doesn't make any difference if you get in and they'd probably chuck you out again anyway if they really didn't want to see you.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, probably developing a huge crush on Natalie Portman.
Natalie Portman?
Yeah, and also probably Scarlett Johansson as well. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, though, I mean, I don't know if
I think that's
in the
an
same
important
house,
moment.
but
Are you regretting the Tiger Woods answer now? You both go. You can both go because portkeys can take a lot of people.
Exactly,
You can both hang on, and then Scarlett and Natalie will be
there waiting
at the other side. What about you?
I'm panicking. I can't think of anyone.
Tiger Woods. He's available.
Tiger Woods is free now. He's feeling.
Well,
he's feeling rejected.
Oh, okay.
What's the maddest thing anyone's ever written to you?
There was one, because there's a massive Harry Potter fan base in Japan, and they are amazing. The letters I get from Japan are absolutely just fantastic. Just the presentation is
I was
sort
about
of,
to say, they're always beautiful.
I mean,
beautifully written.
Handwritten, but they could be typed. It's so precise. But there was a question I got asked once, and it was just a sort of, I would never think of myself as the person to ask for this, which was, is it true that slugs are bigger in Britain?
No.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Which is great. But I just don't quite understand why it was me that got asked. But
Did you write back?
Oh, yeah, no,
yes,
always write back.
they're huge?
What I didn't, you see, the thing is I have no frame of reference because I don't know what Japanese slugs are like.
Yeah. And by the way, when you read the press, does the press tell the truth about you guys? Do you ever read stuff about you that isn't true?
Oh no, someone thought I was going to be an Oompa Loompa in the next Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Right, the next one.
Well, yeah, I don't know.
And you haven't had any conversations on that subject?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad we'll be able to crush that viciously.
I don't actually read any of them, but I did once hear that I had grown something like 8 inches in a fortnight or something in height, and they had a picture of me that my friend showed me, which was, they had a picture of me standing and this massive tape measure next to me to try and show to fake how much I'd grown, which is not, so that was probably the only thing that I've ever really heard about.
If you had to make one distinction between the character you play and who you are, what would you like people to be most confident of? You cooler than Ron?
Definitely, yeah.
You want to reassure people you wouldn't have worn that coat?
No, yeah. I like to think I'm a bit braver than him, because he can be a bit of a wimp sometimes, and I don't know, I always felt I could sort of relate to him in some ways anyway, like, obviously we both got ginger hair and big families, so...
Yeah, ginger hair and big families.
Yeah, that's us, yeah.
What about you? Anything you want to reassure people?
I think, like most people, I wouldn't say I am as brave as Harry is, really, sort of in contrast sort of to what Rupert said. I don't think I am actually as brave as Harry is. I think few people sort of are, really, because I think he's... And I'm obviously, you know, I'm not as troubled as Harry, because, you know, I didn't lose my parents at age 1, I think it was, or something like that. So yeah, I think that's probably the main thing.
And what about you? You're presumably incredibly clever.
No, no, not as clever as she is anyway. She's, you know, in a bit of a league of her own. But no, probably, well, hopefully, I'm not going to get any support from these two, but hopefully less annoying. She's quite...
No, you aren't as annoying as Hermione, don't worry.
Yeah, no, there is a bit of support there. But no, she's quite wound up, Hermione. She's really, you know, what's the word? She's
uptight?
Yeah, she's uptight. She's uptight. Yeah, that's exactly it. Thank you, Dan. She's so sort of eager and, you know, which is great, but probably I'm a little bit more chilled out, you know, a little bit more relaxed, but yeah, no.
Well, look, last question, just from each of you. Ever have any moments when you think, I wish I hadn't got on this roller coaster?
No, it's never really changed my life, really. I get recognised a little bit, because obviously now I've got this sort of hair, I sort of stand out a bit. But other than that, nothing's really... Is
there a traditional reaction? Is there one thing people yell at you in the street? Which people watching this DVD will now know not to do?
Yeah. Well, no, not really. They're just always pretty positive about the film and that. I get called Ron most of the time.
Yeah.
But you can expect that.
I think, like everything, there'll always be moments. I think that's just life, generally. But I think if anyone asked me, you know, if you could turn back time and you would either go to the audition or you wouldn't, there'd be absolutely no way I wouldn't go. You know, I'd never... I mean, all the things that we've all got from this, achieved from it, and, I mean, never ever go back.
I mean, it's really, to me, not made a huge... It really hasn't made a big difference. Yeah, I get recognised, but I mean, it's not like people are coming up to me and throwing bricks or anything. You know, they're always so positive and complimentary that it's like, it's not a big deal at all, you know. I mean, there's never any question that I would not want to do this, because also what's great about it is that I sort of... It's really helped me with sort of confidence in terms of doing the films. Your confidence does, I think, grow. And I think also it's... at school, there was never... It's great being here because I just feel so sort of comfortable on the set. Whereas I never did hugely at school, and so it's great being here because it's like a set, a place where I really love
Right, it sort of is your place. It's
interesting.
become that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sort of interested in everything that's going on, really, whereas I never really was at school.
Yeah, I think we've gained so much from it. From, you know, three people of our age who obviously love acting. Harry Potter's given us this amazing chance to break into an industry which is really difficult to get into. We've had the chance to travel. We've worked with the best British actors and actresses. I mean, I think we've pretty much got everyone in there now. I mean, I don't know who's sort of left. We've done so well.
Well, look, I think you're absolutely brilliant, the three of you. Happy and sane, and you know, it's been an absolute joy talking to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you for talking to us.
5 contest winners were flown to London for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to meet the cast of Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
It's just going to be an event to remember.
I'm very excited to meet the cast. It's just unbelievable.
The winners got the opportunity to interview Daniel, Emma and Rupert and ask the burning questions that they personally wanted to know about.
Well, we're here with 5 epic winners of a competition to come and chat to the 3 stars of the Harry Potter films. And I think each of you have been allocated one question that you can ask, and maybe you can ask a question back. All right, Lauren, you come least far.
Yeah.
Because you live in the UK. Do you want to slam in with your first question?
Hi, my question is, who do you admire among the characters from Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire?
I suppose Dumbledore. I mean, it's obviously the one that they're really in awe of. He's just this immensely powerful, magical man who also manages to be sort of funny and real and kind-hearted, and so yeah, Dumbledore, I'd say.
One vote for Dumbledore.
Yes.
Okay.
Rube, you have a go on.
I'm thinking as well.
Okay.
You can say yourself.
He basically
You can say yourself.
No, I won't say
No,
you.
not Hermione.
I suppose for me, I would say Mad-Eye Moody if he didn't turn out to be how he is in the end.
Evil, awful man
if he wasn't actually the person who caused all the problems for Harry, I would probably say him. It's actually really, I mean, I still really admire Sirius, but see, he's not in this one as much. So, Rope, any suggestions?
Right, Hagrid. He's a nice guy.
Hagrid. He's good. We like Hagrid.
You like Hagrid,
He's really cool. And I also like him because he's so... So in this one, he's incredibly flirty with Madame Maxime, and that's just a real...
So
that's very sweet, actually.
It's so
very funny.
sweet. Yeah. Watch out for that.
Yes,
That's good.
so, yes. That's my very feeble answer to your very good
Okay,
question.
so a Hagrid. Rupert, over to you. You're gonna...
Great. Yeah, I like Hagrid, I think.
I'm right. Yeah, no, I think that proves
So there's
that I
2
was
votes
right.
for Hagrid.
Yes, and you were wrong, even though you gave a
Dumbledore
much more
obviously
articulate
doesn't
answer than any of us.
Okay, we'll just do a follow-on question,
Okay.
so we don't have an agreement. Who do you think is the horridest character, the one you least admire?
Probably Snape, actually. Though, actually, he's not that bad. Voldemort probably, he's the worst.
Yeah, let's be honest.
Yeah, Voldemort.
Connor,
Hello.
you're on next.
I'm Connor. I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and my question is, what was your favorite childhood book or series?
Tricky.
I remember reading a book called Holes by Louis Sacre, which I remember as a kid I loved. It really sort of captured my imagination because it was sort of more than just a kid's book because there was a real element of mystery to it and you couldn't see where it was going. So I suppose that in terms of kids' book would probably be my favourite.
Reap, shall we go next?
Yeah, when I was sort of younger, I'd never really... There wasn't many books I could really sort of get into. I was more of a TV person, I suppose. But I suppose the Harry Potter books, I sort of really got into them. So yeah, probably them.
I think my dad must have read to me every Roald Dahl book that's been written. When I was younger, I used to love Roald Dahl books. But probably more recently than that, I loved Philip Pullman, his Dark Materials. I just love that series.
Following up on what Rupert said about Harry Potter, I mean, I think that we are... So, I mean, I know certainly I am, and I think from what you were saying, we're both sort of living proof of one of those kids who really didn't read a huge amount. I mean, I only read the Louis Sacre book after reading the Harry Potters because they really did get me into reading and make me believe that reading could be really interesting. It didn't have to be a slog. So originally, those are probably the books that you know, did start something in my imagination. Yeah.
So that's 2 votes for Harry Potter, or 1.5. So.
Yeah, why am I the one who's right?
Asuna, you've come the furthest. Would you like to ask? It's great to have you here. Would you like to ask your question?
I'm Asuna. I'm from Japan. So my question is, which scene was most difficult to film?
Luke, do you want to?
Yeah, okay. The campsite scene, that was a bit tricky because there was explosions going off, and most of the shots were sort of, we had to get it in one take.
I suppose for me it was probably the climax of this film, which is with Voldemort. I mean, it was just testing because it was the hardest thing that I've ever had to act. Really, I've never had to do something of that level in terms of the challenge it presented before. So that was probably the hardest for me.
Yeah, I'm going to side with Rupert on this one, actually. The most difficult scene for me was the campsite as well. I mean, it was a really difficult scene to choreograph because quite difficult to choreograph chaos, actually.
And didn't someone... I was either you or me kept tripping up.
No, that was
one.
me.
Right,
actually,
okay.
I fell over about 4 times in a row on the same thing. You'd think that if you tripped over it once, then you'd think, right, I'm not going to do that again.
I definitely, yeah.
3 times in a row, every single take, flat on my back. But anyway.
Those are quite cunning answers, because that's like the first scene pretty well right at the beginning of the movie, and the last scene pretty well. So that people have to watch the whole film in order to see your favourite
We
scenes.
haven't prepared for these as well, you see. So that was just us sparring off each other.
Melissa.
Okay, my name is Melissa. I'm from California, the United States, and my question is, I know you guys have tutoring when you guys are on the set, but when you guys actually go to school, do they treat you differently?
I don't know. Yeah, to a certain extent, because they see so little of me, really. I'm there for sort of a few weeks each year, and then for the rest of the time I do school on set. So when I go back, there's a period of about 3, 4, maybe 5 days or something when it's sort of a novelty thing again, and they sort of it's weird me being there, so they do treat me differently. But after that, after about a week, the novelty wears off, and it sort of just goes back to being school.
I've always loved school, and even when I'm filming, and I always kind of, whenever I can, I always drop back in, and I see all of my friends that are at school regularly every weekend. So they see me around so much that they just realise I'm just like everybody else, and it's nobody really does treat me differently anymore, which is how I like it. It's really nice. So.
And you've stopped school.
Yeah, I've finished school now. Yeah, I never really liked school that much, so I was pretty glad to get out of it, really.
There's the answer. So those who are at school are happy. Those who aren't are even happier. Okay, and Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly. I'm from Michigan. My question is, if you have read books 5 and 6, what parts of those books are you looking most forward to filming as far as what your character is going to do?
There's so much for Harry in the next few books that, I mean, I'm really looking forward to doing the kissing scene with Cho Chang, leaps to mind. The Dumbledore's army stuff, I'm, again, really looking forward to that. Sorry, I'm getting a sip of your answer, but Dumbledore's army, that whole concept really excited me. I just thought, that's so cool, we're forming an army, and like, I love how, I don't know, it's really, I think it's really exciting, and I think she plays quite a sort of key role in making all of that work. She comes up with a lot of, she's ahead to think about how, you know, they're not going to get found out, and she's just really, really clever, and she gets really bossy as well, which is always fun to be. It's always fun to do. So yeah, that.
Yeah, I think in the 5th one I play Quidditch, don't I? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, and I'm part of me is sort of looking forward to that. But
Ron's insecurity with regard to the Quidditch is very funny, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Definitely.
And there's a lot of your family in the next one. That should be really cool. Do we see
as well.
Bill and Charlie in it or something?
Yeah, I think so.
And I'm really looking forward to your relationship with Fleur in book 6, because you're just all totally soppy.
I haven't read much of that yet. So,
no. Well done on coming all this way to be here. It's absolutely
fantastic.
Great to see you. Yeah, well done, you guys. You're brilliant. They do that on the film ever?
They do sometimes, yeah. Actually, I do annoy.
What happens? Because I might, but as I say, because I knew that
you might be
David was
disappointed.
No.
I thought, well, maybe they're all gonna, maybe the situation's gonna.
I know, I do that all the time. You always sort of walk away and find you dragging half the set with you.
It did. I really kind of.
Wow.
Not only were there lots of funny lines, so
Thank you very much. Oh, fantastic.
3 years.